an EU passport in just 3 to 6 months for only 5,000 to 10,000 euros. Sounds like the perfect solution, doesn't it? And this is exactly how the loudest citizenship scams in the European Union usually begin. In the most of these stories, one document appears again and again: the Romanian passport. This video is especially important right now. Demand for EU citizenship is growing fast. People are looking for quick solutions, and the gray market is becoming more aggressive than ever. Behind the attractive words like fast, cheap, and turnkey often hide fake documents, lost money, deportations, and very real criminal cases. Today we'll break down how EU citizenship scams actually work, why the Romanian passport has become the main bait, how these stories usually end in practice, and what legal options really exist. My name is Mia, and you're watching Visa Dan, the channel where we make immigration, visas, residency, and citizenship clear and achievable. Do you know what almost all gray EU passport schemes have in common? They always start the same way, with a promise of a miracle. People are told that it's absolutely illegal, just not widely known. They promise EU citizenship in 3 to 6 months, a fixed price between 5,000 and 10,000 euros, and almost no involvement from the client. Everything is supposedly done through connections, via archives, and without unnecessary bureaucracy. Compared to real timelines and complex procedures, such an offer looks like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And that's exactly how the first stage of manipulation works, by playing on the desire to save time and money. Why the Romanian passport became the main trap? Romania appears in most of these schemes for a reason. The country does not have a legal repatriation procedure for people who can officially prove Romanian ancestry. And this is where the submission of concept begins. Scammers claim that ancestry is just a formality. We'll find everything for you. We have access to archives. Your ancestors are already confirmed. We just need to process the paperwork. In reality, clients are offered completely fake documents, forged birth certificates, invented relatives, non-existent archival records. None of this has any legal value, but it often looks convincing to someone who is not familiar with the immigration law. What in reality is happening in Romania right now? Well, recently Romania carried out large-scale searches as a part of an investigation into illegal acquisition of Romanian documents. This was not about isolated cases, it was systematic investigation. According to prosecutors, law enforcement officers conducted raids at dozens of addresses linked to foreign nationals. More than 100 addresses were inspected where people from former Soviet countries were formally registered. The goal was to verify whether individuals actually lived at the declared addresses and whether the submitted information matched reality. Importantly, this investigation did not start yesterday. It began back in November 2024 when around 90 searches were conducted across several regions. Not only private homes were checked, but also offices of public institutions. As of today, criminal proceedings continue against nearly 100 suspects. The charges are serious: accepting and giving bribes, falsification of data by officials, influence peddling, forgery of official documents, and use of fake identity papers. Investigators have already established the core mechanism of the scheme. Foreign nationals were fictitiously registering places of residence using forged or falsified rental contracts. To obtain ID cards, fake citizenship certificates were used, allegedly issued by Romanian consulates abroad. This once again confirms the key conclusion: any fast track or shortcut EU citizenship schemes are not just risky, they are a direct path to criminal charges, document cancellation, and lifelong problems with entering Europe. So how do these schemes actually work? Let's break it down step by step. First, trust is created. You're actively contacted, questions are answered quickly, and you're shown successful cases, photos of passports, and supposedly official letters. Next comes the financial stage. Usually, you're asked to pay in advance around 50% of the total amount. After that, the scenario develops in one of two ways. In the first case, scammers simply disappear. Messengers are blocked, the website is shut down, and all communication stops. In the second case, the extortion continues. New reasons appear. Requirements have changed. An additional check is needed. Urgent acceleration is required. Since the person has already invested money, it becomes psychologically harder to stop. In the end, the client either loses money and receives nothing, or ends up with a fake document that is not registered in any government database. What happens when the fake is discovered? It's important to understand this clearly. An EU passport is not just a paper or plastic, it is first and foremost record in state systems. Sooner or later, the document is checked at the border, when applying for a job, opening a bank account, or submitting documents for family residency. If it turns out that the passport is fake or obtained based on forged documents, the consequences are extremely serious. The passport is annulled, the person is deported, and the criminal proceedings begin. Depending on the country and circumstances, this can mean large fines, real prison sentences, and even a lifelong ban on entering all EU countries. And here is a crucial point. The argument, "I was deceived," usually does not work. From legal standpoint, responsibility lies with the person who used forged documents. So, fast and cheap is the biggest red flag. Legal EU citizenship is never fast, and it's never simple. Even if a person genuinely has confirmed Romanian roots, the repatriation process takes on average 12 to 14 months. It includes archival verification, document authentication, official submissions, and waiting for a decision. If someone promises you a passport in 3 to 6 months, it's almost always a scam. At best, you lose money. At worst, you lose your freedom and your right to enter the EU. Are there legal ways to obtain EU citizenship? Yes, and this is how it really works. One option is marriage to an EU citizen, but this requires genuine cohabitation, proof of the relationship, and usually several years before applying for citizenship. Another path is education or official employment. A person first obtains residence permit and permanent residency, and then only after can apply for citizenship. There is repatriation if you truly have a documented ancestry. There are also investment-based models such as golden visa programs with naturalization after several years. All these routes require time, transparency, and compliance with the law. But in return, you get a real status with no hidden risks. Why the legal route is the right choice? A legal path means no risk of criminal liability, deportation, or lifelong bans. It means real citizenship or residency that you can actually use for living, working, business, and free movement. And most importantly, it means peace of mind. You don't live with the fear that your documents could be checked and cancelled at any moment. So, how Visa then works? At Visa then, we fundamentally do not work with gray schemes or fake documents. Our goal is not to sell a beautiful promise, but to lead the client to a real, lawful result. We start with a detailed analysis of your situation, background, education, experience, goals. If there is a legitimate basis for repatriation, we say so honestly. If there isn't, we select alternative legal routes. We support our clients at every stage, from eligibility checks to document submission and status approval, and we stay in touch even after the result is achieved. If you're considering EU citizenship or residency and want to follow a legal and safe path, contact us. The Visa Dan team will select the optimal solution for your situation and guide you all the way to the result. This was Mia, Visa Dan. Subscribe to the channel, leave your questions in the comments, and see you in the next video.